Hey guys. Okay, great. So you finished the day 4 notes, hopefully, and then now you're ready to do the practice test, and then you'll be all ready for the test during class. So we'll just finish this during class. This is what we did in class. Remember, if you're doing powers and with the eye, you're just going to take your calculator here. Make sure you're on the mode of complex numbers, right? So you just come down here and then arrow over to where it says A plus BI, hit enter, and you'll be good to go. And then I'm just going to type this in as it is. So I've got, where'd my calculator go? There it is. Okay, so now I'm going to clear this screen and I'll just type in -9 plus 3, and then to get the I, I'm going to go second decimal, and then minus, and then I've got a 6 minus 2I. So second decimal to get my I. All right, so this would be -15 plus 5I. All right, and then just as a reminder for if you have a high exponent here, remember a high power, what you're going to do is you do the math num 3. So if I'm going to do I to the 22nd, I would do math, arrow over to the num, and then it's the I part is 3. That gives me the I part, and then I'll just put in I, and then the up arrow, and then I can do the 22nd. All right, and I get -1. Okay, so that's that. We did this one in class. Remember, if you have the vertex is 2, -8, I go over 2 and down to -8, and then to get my next point, I go up 1 over 1. Then I go up 3 over 1, and then I go up 5 and over 1, and then I go up 7 and then over 1. And the reason for that was from when we looked at the squares, okay, and how they worked. It went from like 0 squared to 1 squared, right? 0 squared to 1 squared to 2 squared, went 0, 1, 4, 9, and so on. And remember, the differences were 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So that's the pattern between those the different squares. And so that's why when you're doing this one now, when you're graphing, you go up 1, then up 3, then up 5, and then up 7. And then you do that on the other side. Go up 1. Okay, and then obviously you can just put it into Desmos and look at the numbers and do it that way. Okay, so this is in standard form. So here A would be 1, B would be -4, and C would be -4. All right. And then to do this one, we did this in class. This is vertex form, right? Where the number in front here is A, and then you have X minus the X of the vertex. It's got to be squared, and then plus the Y. All right. But basically, if you want, just type this in. All right. And then you can see what the vertex is here when you type it into Desmos. And so the vertex was -1, 5. All right. And you can see that it's opening down. And the axis of symmetry, remember, it has the X, so it's X equals -1. So it has to go through this point. That would be this vertical line here. That's your axis of symmetry. where x equals -1. And then the y-intercept is right here where it crosses the y-axis. And the function, since it's upside down, it's like a hill, the top of the hill then is going to be your maximum. All right, and so then we did this in class too, I think, or no, we did this one in class, right? So the domain, it goes all the way to the left forever, and it goes all the way to the right forever. So that would be -infinity to +infinity. And then the range is going to be from bottom to top. So the bottom is the vertex here. If you go over on the y, that's -1, and it's included, so that would be a square bracket. And then it goes up forever, right? So that would be to +infinity, right? From -1 here all the way up to +infinity. That's my range, all right? And that's interval notation. End behavior, you're looking at the ends. Well, both ends are going up to +infinity. And then the interval of increase would be the right-hand side here where it's going up. All right, and remember, you're looking at the x values. When you're doing your intervals, it's the first x and the last x where it is increasing. So it's increasing here, and then it goes forever. So it's increasing, it goes to infinity, it's increasing, and it starts increasing right here at when x is at -4. All right, and then the decreasing is on the other side, right? Decreasing is this side. And so the x values where it's decreasing here would be from -infinity, and then it stops, right? The turnaround right here is at the -4. So -infinity to -4, that's where it is decreasing. All right, and then now number 9 is the same thing. You're going to be doing the domain. So it goes left forever, so that would be -infinity, and it goes to the right forever, so that would be +infinity, or all real numbers. All right, this up here is going to be a maximum, right, because it's at the very top, so that's a max. And that's the range goes from bottom to top. So the bottom, it starts down here at -infinity, right? -infinity. And then it goes all the way up here to the maximum, to the vertex. And then again, you're looking at the y values though. So it goes from -infinity up to 4. All right, and that's why we have -infinity to 4 for the maximum there. Oops. All right. End behavior, well, the ends are down here, and so they're both at -infinity because it's going down. Both sides are going down. Then the interval of increase, all right, on the left, it's increasing. So that would be from -infinity, and then it stops increasing at this maximum here, which was at 1. So from -infinity to +1, that is where it's increasing. And then it's decreasing on the right-hand side. So picking up from 1 and going to +infinity, that's where it's decreasing. All right, and then we did this in class together, right? This is the quadratic model that you type in when you want to do a quadratic regression. Okay, and then what you're going to do here is you're going to put the information into the table. So you go into Desmos. And you're going to add your table of data here. So I'm going to put, you go plus, and then the table. and you enter in all the numbers. All right, so I've got 25, 30, 35, 40. All right, I'm going to enter those in. Okay, 25, 30, and so on. You enter those in, and you enter in all the y values. And then what you need to put in is your equation. So you're going to do y1, because these have to match. So this is y1 in my table, so this is going to be y1. And then you do the shift, and then you get the tilde, and then you're going to do ax1, and to make it quadratic, it has to be to the second power. So I got to square it, and then I've got plus bx1, and then plus c. All right, and then when I do that, I will then have numbers for values for a and b and c down here below. All right, and you'll see what it says is round to 3 decimal places. So you have 0, 1, and then this, if you look at the next number, it's more than 5, so this rounds up to 1. All right, so your A is going to be negative 0.011, and then the B is a positive 1.202. So you put that there, and then the C is a negative 2.588. Okay, so I've got all my data in here, and that takes, hopefully, like, type that in, practice doing that. And so, and I've got my x1 and my y1 matches my x1 and my y1 here, and I've got my quadratic here. So here's my A and my B and my C. And so you can see why we've got 0.01, and then you want to have 3 digits after 3 decimal places. So the next one here, the fourth one was a 9, so I'm going to round that up to 1. And then B was positive 1.20. And then again, this 1, the third digit, if you look to the right, at the fourth, that's more than 5, so that's going to be 202. And then here I've got 2.588. If I look at the fourth digit, it's just a 1, so I'm going to leave it at 588. Okay, there's my A and my B and my C. Okay, and all right, so there is my equation, right? So I put it, and make sure you have x squared, x, and then there's your c. All right. Now, if I want to find the maximum, what I'm going to have to do, because it looks like here you really can't see anything. So remember, what you have to do is go to the tool, and you have to change your x-axis and your y-axis so that it fits your data. So this is kind of going from like 0 to maybe 100 for the x's. So make that be 0, and then going to 100. All right, and then my y's are going from like 0 to, actually my highest is a 30, so we'll say like to 40. And actually, that's probably, that kind of fixed it right there. All right. So maybe I will, hang on, I'm going to change my y's. So I'll make it go from like 0 to like 50. Okay. And then you can kind of see a little bit better. Like, I want to be able to see exactly where my vertex is. So what I'm looking for, right, this is going to be a maximum, right? So the maximum is going to be the vertex. And if you look at the question, it's asking you about the maximum fuel economy. So that was the Y value of my vertex. All right, so the maximum fuel economy, it says round to the nearest tenth. So that means it's going to be 1 decimal place. All right, so if I'm looking at my graph here, all right, so here's the Y is my fuel economy, so that would be 30, and then it says I want to the tenths place, so I'm going to look over here at the hundredths, so that's more than 5, so that's going to go up to 4, so it'd be 30.4, and then that would be miles per gallon, because it says fuel economy, right? So there it is, miles per gallon is my fuel economy. All right. And now here I want to know the speed, all right, that maximizes that. So what's the speed that goes with that? Well, the speed is my X value, right? And that's miles per hour. So if I look at the X value of that maximum, it would be 54.8, but then if you look at the next one, it's more than 5, so that'd be 54.9. So that's what I'm going to write, 54.9, and then it says units, so it'd be miles per hour for the speed. All right, and that's, here are my units right here, miles per hour. Okay, so the key to remember here is to get your table. Remember, you hit the plus sign right here, plus, and then you can add a table. And then to enter in your quadratic regression, remember you just use the standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. And then here is your a and your b and your c. And that is it. And then usually what you're interested in as far as answering the question, it usually is going to be the vertex. You want to maximize or minimize something. All right, and then the next thing we did is we talked about writing the function in vertex form. All right, so what you do, I'm going to erase this so you can see the work here. All right, so in vertex form, what you're going to do is just put this in Desmos so that you can find the vertex. All right, this is vertex form right here, A in front with the parentheses, x minus x plus y. All right, so I'm going to go from standard form to vertex form. All right, so what I'm going to do is just type this into Desmos. Y equal, oops, let me fix that so it doesn't keep disappearing on me. Okay, oops. All right, so now, oh my gosh, okay. Why is it doing that? Oh, because this. All right, I got a minute. Okay, oh my gosh. How can I still struggle with this after a year of this online learning? Okay, so here we go. Y equals, and then I got my x squared minus 8x, and then plus 7. All right, so I'm going to do home, so it goes back to normal, right? And so again, there's my vertex, 4, negative 9. All right, so that is what I need to know to get to the vertex form. So 4, negative 9 is the vertex. The other thing I need to know is A, right? You need to know what A is in front. So A, looking at this, is 1, right? The number in front is A, so A equals 1. And you can see because it goes up 1 over 1 and then up 3 over 1. So it's like a regular slope there. No stretching, okay, or compressing. So there's that. So now I'm just going to use this form. So I'm going to write y equals, and I'm going to put the a in front, which is a 1, which means you don't have to put anything. I'll go ahead and put a 1 just so I know it's there. The a goes in front, and then x minus, and then whatever your x coordinate is here, 4. Right? So if this is positive, this is going to be negative. Right? So because if I put 4 minus 4, that's 0. And then so what's the y going to be? Negative 9. So this just comes down straight like it is. And then you can always check to see if they're the same by typing that in. All right? Y equals x minus 4. Oh, what did I forget? I forgot the squared. I got to make it quadratic, right? So I got to make this quadratic here. And then I'll put the minus 9. So notice that they're both the same, right? The blue one and the red one. Standard form in the red, vertex form in the blue. All right, and so now coming down here, we're going to write this in standard form. No need for the calculator. We're just going to do some foiling. All right, so let me erase this. All right, I'm going to write this in standard form. That's vertex form, and so I'm going to write it in standard form. So I'm going to stretch it out first. So this says x minus 1 squared. So what that means is x minus 1 times itself, right? That's what squared means. And then I have the plus 7. All right, so now I'm going to FOIL this guy. I'm going to distribute the x. So x times x is x squared. And then I'm going to do x times negative 1, which is negative x. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to distribute this guy. Negative 1 times x is negative x. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And then I have my plus 7. All right, and then now I'm going to combine my like terms here. All right, these are like terms, negative x, right? And then I've got my 1 and my 7 that I can add together. So that gives me, my final answer here is going to be y equals, that's the only thing I have for x squared, so I'll just bring down my x squared. Now negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And then I've got 1 plus 7 is 8. And then that would be my answer there. So I went from vertex form to standard form here. All right, and that is it for the practice test. So I gave you actually 2 copies. You have one practice test in your packet connected, and then you have one separate. So if you want to keep practicing, try doing that practice test twice. Try doing both of them. All right, and if you can do that, then you should be fine, because all I did is just change the numbers. All right, good job. Thanks for your hard work, as always.